Started, I want to introduce you to a few people. The first one is Rick Sizer. He's the Dean of Admissions at the University of Hartford with a wealth of knowledge about just about everything. So he is on the call to answer questions that may be outside the health science program. For our health science program, I'd like to welcome Dr. Oakes. She's the Associate Professor of Health Sciences. And also Dr. Munez, she's the Assistant Professor of Health Sciences. And they're going to introduce you to our wonderful health science students that are going to help us too today. Thank you. Enjoy.
All right, terrific. All right, can everybody hear me okay? All right, thank you, Fernandi, the people who I can see. All right, so my name is Claudia Oakes, and I am happy to welcome you all today. We do have 3 students. Thank you so much to my loyal students for showing up for this. We have Kumi and Lydia and Lindsay. We'll just keep it to first names to keep it simple. We're going to talk about them some during the program and then ask some questions, have you all talk a little bit about your experience in the health science program, and then students and parents, if you have questions for our current students, we are happy to let those answer too. So, all right, we can go ahead and get started. All right, so what is the health science program here at the University of Hartford? The health science program is a liberal arts curriculum with an emphasis on the science. And it's important for everybody to know that this is a science-based degree. It's a Bachelor of Science that you earn when you earn the health science degree. So everybody takes biology and chemistry, genetics and microbiology. Plus, in addition to the science coursework, students learn about the healthcare system. So there are a variety of health science electives from which to choose that help to broaden the curriculum, to broaden your experience in college, and to make it so that when you're going into this career in healthcare, you really understand more than about the basic sciences. So we like to say that it rounds the curriculum out. This is a non-clinical program whose main intent is to prepare students for graduate programs in healthcare. So people go on to all different kinds of programs, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. And we like to say that there's a lot of advising available to help you. So generally we have 2 groups of students, people who are laser focused from day one. They know exactly what they want, but they need advice about how to become a competitive applicant and what they need to do strategically to make the most out of their college experience. But then we also have students who know they want to do something in healthcare, but they're not quite sure what it is. And we help you with that too. What's the best fit for your interest and your skills, and how can we help you get some experiences that will help you be able to make a good decision? This is a picture here of Doug Dix, one of our faculty members, with Wayne Lawrence, who is actually in a doctoral program in public health right now. He's finishing up this year. And when Wayne came to us, he thought he wanted physical therapy, but had a change of heart along the way and ended up applying to Master's in Public Health and then a doctoral program in public health. So it is not unusual for people to have a slightly non-linear journey and still turn out all right and have a great experience. In the first year, all health science students take some core coursework. Everybody takes 2 classes, Introduction to Health Professions 1 and 2. 1 is in the fall and 2 is in the spring. And it's just what it sounds like. You learn about a variety of different health professions. You learn about the healthcare system, about how insurance works, about interprofessional communication, how to work on a team, some of the basic foundational elements of what it's like to work in the healthcare system. Additionally, everybody takes a full year of writing unless you placed out through your through perhaps an AP test score. And then everybody takes a year of general bio and a year of general chemistry. Nearly everybody takes a math in that first year, and what level of math you take is dependent on what you took in high school and how you may have done on any test that you took, but we work individually to place students in the appropriate math class. So what are these health science courses that people take? Well, as I said before, they teach you about how the healthcare healthcare system works. They can also be used to fulfill your prerequisites for graduate programs. So for many people, they have to take a class in nutrition, or they need to take a class in exercise science, or they need a medical terminology class. And those are all options for people. But the health science electives also help people explore options to think about what they might want to do with their lives. So, for instance, we have a class called Organ and Tissue Donation, and it's a fascinating class where people learn about a whole world of the healthcare system that they might not even have known existed. And so you take that class and you realize all different kinds of health professionals work in that world. And maybe that's something that's a good fit for you that you hadn't considered because you didn't even know it existed. So I like to think the classes help to meet that need too. And then some of the classes have an experiential learning component. This was a class I taught, and we went out into the community. This picture was taken at a local assisted living facility. And the students did a little presentation about eye health. All right, so there are two tracks in the health science program. We have the general track and the pre-professional track. So the general track is for students who are interested in professions, perhaps like occupational therapy or public health. There's a slightly lighter science requirement, and with that lighter science requirement, we have all sorts of extra time where students can take extra classes, tailor the curriculum to meet their needs. I'm going to let Lydia jump in here because Lydia is on the general track. She's going to an occupational therapy graduate program in the fall. And can you talk about how you had the room to take some of the classes that you needed that were prereqs for the range of OT programs that you were applying to?
Yeah, sure. So I was able to pick up a psychology minor because I needed to take a lot of classes in psychology, like research methods, developmental psychology, and things like that. So having the lighter science requirement allowed me a few extra credits, just basically be like, take something within the spectrum of psychology. So I could take like anything that I needed to take. And I basically just wrote down a list of all my prerequisites and started at the top and worked my way down.
Yeah, and there were some programs, as I seem to recall, since we spent a few hours looking at this list, some programs required neuroscience, some programs required functional anatomy, and you had the flexibility to fit in anything that you needed for any program that you were looking at. So thank you, because I think that's a really nice example of how that flexibility can really benefit the students. Then we have the pre-professional track, and this is for people who are interested in medicine, dentistry, optometry, chiropractic, pharmacy, physician assistant would also fall into this list. This does have a heavier science load. So in this track, students, in addition to the year of general bio, general chem, also take the full year of organic chemistry, full year of physics, cell bio, microbiome, biochemistry. And that is because those classes are all required for the professional programs. In the general track, we have one advising course to help people along the way. And in the pre-professional track, we have 3 advising courses. The intent is the same. It's to help people learn about what they need to know in order to become a competitive applicant for the programs to which they are applying. The reason that we have 3 on the pre-professional track is that a lot of people come in thinking that they know what they want, but they aren't aware of the full range of options or the competitive nature of the programs. So we start out with a broad class in the freshman year where we really say, A to Z, here are what your options here, and here's how relatively competitive they are. And here's some things you might want to know. And then in the sophomore and the junior year, we target the advising much more specifically to learn about the specific programs and about the specific requirements and what you need to do for those programs. The one course in the general track happens a little bit later on, and that's generally when people are fairly focused and we just need to laser focus them in to make sure that they're ready to apply. Back to the pre-professional track, we also have a pre-medical professions advisory committee, and students who are applying to these pre-professional programs meet with the committee before they apply to get advice about their readiness. And then when we are all on the same page about readiness, this committee writes the composite letter that goes in with the application. And let me just back up, sorry. My two other student panelists are on the pre-professional track. And I wondered if either Kumi or Lindsay wanted to say something about the pre-med advising seminars and how they were able to help you make decisions. I know you have both taken away different information from there. So Kumi, did you want to start? And then we'll go to Lindsay.
Yeah, I can start. So definitely the pre-professional advising seminars helped me figure out what I needed to do with the application process of applying to med school, because there's so many different components that are involved, and I never would have learned the full depth of it if it wasn't for these classes that kind of laid out each step I needed to take and like the timeline of things. So those really helped me prepare to be a successful applicant.
Yes, do you want to tell the crew what you're doing next fall?
Sure. So I'll be starting medical school at the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine. So I got in.
Fantastic. And Lindsay, how did the PPS classes help you make your decisions?
Hi. Okay, so hi everyone. So they were really helpful. I think the biggest thing that I got from it is kind of like reaffirming what I wanted to do. I came into college wanting to do pre-med, but I wasn't sure. I think I was kind of like, oh, let's just try this. But I think the classes give a good reality of what they're like, because we have like a physician or like a podiatrist, or all these different professions come in and tell you like what they're actually doing on a day-to-day basis, rather than just you like assuming what they do or like hearing about what they do maybe before college. So I think that was really helpful to kind of like get the reality of how difficult their jobs are and if that fit, like it was a good fit for me. But I think the best part of the PPS classes were the shadowing and I guess like internship requirement. I guess in the second class, I think it was really good to kind of get to shadow doctors and see like if that's what I actually wanted to do. Because I also wanted to go in doing pediatrics, and you never know what I'm gonna do now, but like I remember shadowing a pediatrician and thinking like this isn't for me, you know. So it kind of helps you rule out if you can see yourself doing the job or if you can't. So that's a really good side of that too.
And I think also in our discussions through those seminars, you decided that you wanted to take the extra year before you applied to get more experience and to help position yourself strategically. And I think it was many conversations along the way that helped you to get to that point.
Yeah, I think, we've definitely had a lot of conversations about taking our growth year. Because I think, I don't know, for me, it was definitely a difficult decision because I think going into college and wanting to do med school, you just want to like get it done and go as fast as you can, and kind of just go on with the regular cycle. But for me, I definitely knew I needed an extra year, just to kind of come off of college, maybe take that break, and build up my resume a little bit more. I'm planning to do a scribe job my year off. So I'm really excited for that, honestly, just take a break before medical school. And yeah.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Okay, so those are our two tracks. And we do also have at the University of Hartford a new minor. It's a minor in gerontology, so the study of older adults. This is an interdisciplinary minor where students take classes in health science, but also in the art school, in the Barney School of Business, and in the School of Arts and Sciences. There's an internship that is optional for students who would like to do it. And I developed this minor, so I can talk passionately about it. It is my mission to help students understand that the demographics of the country and of the world are changing, and it is very likely that students, regardless of their major, are going to be working with older adults when they graduate from college. And I think this minor can really help people to understand the complexities of that, the realities, and really we're on a mission to help students to see that that's a good thing, that there are opportunities in that, and that working with older people can be a really positive experience and a great thing. And that is an option that can help prepare people for the rest of their lives, when they're applying for jobs, but also when they're applying for graduate school. I think it's nice to be able to have some experience. And Lindsay's doing the minor. Did you want to talk about any of the classes that you've taken? How it's influenced
Sure.
your feelings about working with older adults?
Yes, I think, I mean, in young people, I mean, she talks about this a lot. In young people, you don't really think about people who are that much older than you, or like who are older adults, unless they're kind of in your life, I guess. But I feel like it was a really, I don't know, this whole minor has been such an amazing experience to go through 'cause you just learn so much. And it also helps you grow, I think, as a person to like learn how to care for the elderly, honestly. And I think the classes are so interesting. We have like dementia and we have intro to gerontology. I'm currently in an arts and healthcare class and a social insurance class. So those are art school and boarding school classes, and they've been so amazing to just get to work with people because the dementia class and the arts and healthcare class, they're both interactive. You get to like go to a nursing home, and we went to Brookdale, which is there's a bunch of people with dementia there that we got to spend time with and get to do different activities with. So there's just a lot to learn from the minor. I think it's something that everyone should just take the class, at least the intro to gerontology class. You just learn so much that you just didn't think you needed to know until you take it. So there's just a lot of good stuff in there. I think it's gonna be really important in the future, and especially at this time, to get to know, how our healthcare system is gonna change, and how there's gonna be a lot more people who need healthcare that are in the older adult population. I don't know, it was a really good experience for me. I'm so grateful that, Professor Oakes even introduced this like while I was here. I think I feel really blessed to have that. So yeah, it's a really good experience.
Thank you. And again, Lindsay started out thinking she wanted to be a pediatrician. All right. I am going to talk briefly about peer-to-peer counseling, which I think is a really nice thing that happens organically a lot at the University of Hartford, and we have some structured ways to make it happen. So this is an event called the Accepted Students Day, in which people who were accepted into graduate programs, we have a lunch, and they talk to the people who are applying to graduate programs in that next cycle, so they can give lots of advice and share the "if I had known then what I know now" sorts of stories. It's also a nice way for us to honor our students who were accepted into graduate school, which is a fabulous thing. So that's one of our more formal events, but we also have lots of informal ways in which we connect more experienced and less experienced students. I just got an email from one of my freshman advisees today, who, Humi, happened to have been talking to you, and she said, "Oh, Humi told me that I should ask you this." And so there are just lots of things where students are talking to each other, getting advice, informally mentoring each other. And I think that is just a really great experience. I think it's part of the community that we have here in the health science program, where you guys are not competitive with each other. I see you all as being so supportive, and it's such a nice group who are looking out for each other. And to me, that is really something worth highlighting. In terms of some of our extra activities, I'll turn this over to Dr. Munoz now.
Hey, hi, everybody. So we have a lot of different clubs on campus, and I know even some of our panelists are affiliated with different clubs. I know Kumi is actually even the president of the Newman Club, if I remember correctly. But we do have a couple clubs that are a little bit more embedded into the health science type disciplines that both Dr. Oakes and I play big roles in. So we do have a pre-med club, and I know that they kind of expand on some of the topics that the pre-professional seminars incorporate. So they will have professionals from a variety of different backgrounds come in and talk to the students again about like their day-to-day, what it was like going through the graduate programs, et cetera. They will also bring in admissions representatives, and I think that's something that's incredibly valuable. And, sometimes students will initially think, well, I'm not planning on going to medical school or, say, a pharmacy school, but we always encourage our students to go to those meetings because it's amazing how much you'll learn from some of these admissions representatives that will actually be relevant to the graduate program that those students intended on through. So I'm actually a big part of the Exercises Medicine Club. I'm the advisor of that club. We started just a couple of years ago. And some of the things that we do, I mean, we try to incorporate exercise events on campus as much as possible. So one of the first things we did was called the Walk Across Generations, where we invited local older adults to campus to walk with students. And we just walked around campus. And so it promoted physical activity and also some good conversations among. We also do kickball events every year, and actually this last year we teamed up with the Student Government Association to put on a large kickball event. We also have, if you look in the bottom left corner of your screen, this is our Instagram page, and so we try to post things regularly, everything from scientifically backed information, so people understand why exercise is good for you. You know, you hear that message all the time, just exercise is good for you, but you know, how and why is it good for you? We have a very powerful collection of information available to people. But we'll also do things like little tips, you know, ways to get people motivated. We'll advertise events that are going on campus. Like there was a cardio splash class that the swim team put on, so we wanted to help them out and advertise that. We are also now a nationally recognized club, so we are at the silver level, which means that we do a lot of educational and event type activities on our campus, and we are striving for the gold level, which we are actually making a lot of headway on. And so what that means is that we would start working with our health services on campus, where they will start asking our students how much they exercise, so we can get some metrics on that and learn a little bit more about the health of our community. But they'll also provide them some resources to help them exercise more often. So we're really excited about those sorts of activities. Next slide, please. This is some pictures from our ENHP day. So we are in the College of Education, Nursing, and Health Professions, hence the ENHP. And this is, oh gosh, I can't say exactly how many years this has been going on for now, but quite a few. And this is a day where everybody in our college has the opportunity to present some of their research. So this is not just faculty, and in fact, I'd say there's many more students involved than faculty in this. So students that do get involved with either faculty-led research projects or their own research projects, which we have a number of those as well, will present their work either in an oral presentation or a poster presentation format. So there's a lot of great things surrounding this event. Aside from the fact that students get involved in research, and I'll talk much more about that in just a second, it's also a good opportunity for them to start doing public presentations, which, you know, a lot of times students are terrified about at first, but this is one of the ways that we show them that it's not so bad. It's also something that they can use for their graduate and employment applications. So, you know, one of the things that's always in the back of our mind is how do we make our students marketable? Because as Dr. Oakes mentioned, these are competitive programs. So we try everything that we can to give our students a leg above. So this is one way that we do that, is getting them these types of experiences. You know, this is also really a big part of our honors program, which I won't go into right now because Dr. Oakes is going to expand on that in just a moment. But the thing that I really love about incorporating the students in research and giving them these experiences is I can't think of a better way to teach critical thinking and problem solving and some of these components that graduate programs and employers are consistently asking for these days. Next slide, please. So I've already spoken a little bit about faculty research. So everybody in our department does research of some sort. So Dr. Oakes obviously does most of her work with older adults. So everything from learning how to, or helping older adults learn in place so that they can stay in their homes independently as long as possible. She's done some stuff with low vision, lots of different pedagogical research projects as well. So figuring out how, what sorts of teaching and learning modalities work best. Dr. Dix actually has done a number of things over the years, but most recently he's done some review type analyses to look at what sorts of variables are related to cancer incidence. He always jokes that one of the things that they found is most important is aging, and so he tells everybody just don't age and you'll be fine. But he's brought a number of students on those projects with him, and they've gotten some publications out of that as well. I'm actually an exercise physiologist, but I primarily study hydration. So not only do I look at, you know, what sorts of practices do athletes use in terms of hydration to improve their performance, but now even more so, we look at what people drink on a daily basis. So we're talking about the general population now, how that equates to chronic health outcomes. So we've done numerous projects over the last few years in this type of work, but most recently is our biggest project, and I'm happy to say that two of our panelists were research assistants of mine. So we actually, over the course of the fall and the spring semester, collected data on 80 subjects on campus. So these were volunteers that were willing to give us some of their information and some of their samples, like urine samples and blood samples. And we analyzed these samples, and it was a lot of work, right, guys? But we had a lot of fun along the way, and I think there's a lot of different aspects of learning involved in this as well. So this is something that we're going to continue to do on campus, and anybody's really welcome to apply to be a research assistant. We do send out applications. They go through the process of being accepted, and then it's hit the ground running from there. So more of that to come in the future. We also really encourage our students to not only attend conferences, but present at conferences as well. So this is a photo of me and some fellow students at the New England chapter of the American College of Sports Medicine meeting. So luckily there's some great conferences in the area that students can drive to. So this is very manageable in that sense. And we encourage them to sit in on sessions that are related to their career choice, or maybe some other ones in case they need to think about some other options or want to make sure that they're broadening their views about different aspects of the disciplines. So we have brought students to do poster presentations at these conferences. And again, these are all things that look great on resumes and application materials. So this really shows a commitment to the profession. It shows a commitment to professionalism as well. And this is a great networking experience. Actually, this is a conference where two of our students about a year ago met a colleague of mine who works for the Army Research Institute in Massachusetts. And this led to a great connection because they're now actually working as research assistants for the U.S. Army and getting a wonderful experience. And they've now actually changed their career paths because of it. So they're very happy with that. So again, we try to really open the mindsets of our students, broaden their horizons, and make them marketable.
All right. This is a picture of two University of Hartford students, one from the College of Arts and Sciences and one who was a health science major. And they were presenting at a conference in Pittsburgh. And just happened to love this picture. So I thought I'd include it just so you know that you have all sorts of different opportunities that you might not have ever thought would be available to an undergrad. And I think, traveling across the country to present your work at a conference is just something that you might not be able to visualize yourself doing now, but it might be something that you end up doing in your future. We also do have the opportunity for study abroad. I think a lot of students wonder if this health science program seems so rigorous, could there be any opportunity to study abroad? And there is. If you plan and you are strategic about it, you can take either one of our short study abroad experiences. So we have some 3-week experiences, some 1-week experiences, and then we have full semester experiences. This is one of my advisees, Faiza, who went to Italy, and she actually volunteered with an EMT department and was able to help with transport while she was there. So just a really interesting way to learn about a healthcare system in a different country while also learning everything else that you learn while you're abroad. She also took a class called The Wines of Italy, which I think was also enjoyable. All right, and then we do have a robust honors program here at the University of Hartford. Briefly, students who are honors eligible take general education honors classes, so maybe an honors writing or an honors psychology. And then they take classes in their major. So you take the health science classes for honors credit. And then everyone in the honors program completes a year-long faculty-directed honors project that, the students come up with the ideas, and then we find them the faculty people to support them. So it's a great opportunity to do a deep dive into something that you are passionate about and you care about. And it's just a great, enriching experience. My goal as the coordinator of the honors program in ENHP is that you leave wanting to research more, wanting to learn more, wanting to be a lifelong learner. It's an undergraduate program. We're not going to teach anybody doctoral level research skills at this level, but what I want you to do is have the passion to go on and learn more and continue to your quest for learning for the rest of your life. So do have a couple of people here who have done honors projects. Did you all want to talk about the honors program at all, or your project specifically? Kumi?
Yeah, I can add to that. So I am part of the honors program, and for my gen eds, I just took writing and psych, and I found that in those gen ed honors courses, it's just more, you dive more into certain topics, and it's just a overall more interesting class and how you approach different things. And then for my health science classes that I made honors, I did culture and medicine and then intro to exercise science. And basically for those classes, you just do something extra that's not required of other students. So I wrote a paper on a topic within the class that I found interesting and got honors credit for that. And then for my senior honors project, I developed a concussion education program to help educate students on campus about concussions and what the recommended management methods are right now, just because I found that with my research for other classes and like other assignments that I've done, there's a lot of misconceptions that are out there. So I wanted to get the right information out to people because it's such a common injury. And I got to learn a lot more about concussions now, and it just kind of made me want to dive deeper into the field. And the project was really fun to do, and I made it into like a fun bingo game as well, so it wasn't just a traditional boring old presentation. But yeah, it's definitely a great experience, and you get to learn more about something that you're interested in that might not be offered as a class, so it's really all self-directed. You get to choose whatever you want. You get to learn more about things that you're actually interested in, and the faculty will all support you and help you do that.
Thank you. Lydia, did you want to talk about your senior project?
Yeah, sure. So I've always been like super interested in mental health and specifically autism. I actually chose the grad school that I'm going to because they have like a specialization kind of in autism. So I did a lot of my classes that you could make honors. I kind of like shifted them. Like I took history of disease for an honors class, and I did extra research on like the history of how people with autism have been treated and like treatment methods that we've used in the past. And then I just wrote like a quick paper about it, and it didn't seem like extra work because it was something that I probably would have been doing anyway, just to get the credit for it. And it was super interesting, and it actually like sparked the bond between my current honors advisor, Doug Dix. You guys saw him on stage before. But so I did my honors project on how the media impacts our perceptions of people with mental disabilities in terms of like general mental disabilities and not specifically like autism or schizophrenia or anything like that. And I proposed a new diagnosis for the DSM because right now we're linking everybody together and saying that like all people with mental disabilities are like scary or bad because that's how they're portrayed in the media. And I think we need to be more specific and say people with hyperaggressive syndrome or something like that is scary because they don't have the resources that they need.
Thank you. So all sorts of different options in the honors program to study something you're passionate about, which you guys both did. I've just got one more slide here, and that is just, here's Doug Dix again. I think one of the nice things we really have to offer is that the faculty can serve as mentors to the students, and that's what we really try to do, with be more than teachers, but really people who can help guide you to your next steps in life. And it's an exciting role for us. It's something we love doing and we're passionate about. And as you guys know, because I've done it with you, like nobody ever really leaves the health science program because we stay in touch with everybody when they graduate because we then link them to the next group of students. But it's nice because then you have people out there who can help you, you know, as you're moving along your own professional journey. So we really like to be a part of making those connections that hopefully will serve you for the rest of your life. So that ends the formal part of my presentation. If people have questions and they want to pop them in the question box or ask them in any way that you can, that's fine. But I have a few more questions for the students, and maybe that will address some of the questions that you had. So while we're waiting to see if anything comes in, I just wanted to call on Lydia again because Lydia is a scholar athlete, and I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how you have managed to juggle being an athlete with your really rigorous load and, well, a few of the other responsibilities you have had in college.
Yeah. So I'm on the track and field team. I'm a horizontal jumper. We have practice in the morning, and then we lift 3 times a week in the middle of the day. So the only thing that's like maybe harder than it would be for somebody who doesn't have those like weird chunks of time is like scheduling my classes around them. But there's so many people that are like willing to help you figure out how you can fit the specific classes that you want in, or like all of the coaches that I've had have helped me like, oh, you can miss lift on Monday.
Sorry about that.
Or whatever it may be, because obviously academics come first, and that's a huge thing here, and I think everybody knows that, and we have our own like athletic advisors as well that are willing to help proctor exams if you have to miss an exam for a meet or a tournament or whatever it may be. And then, like I said in the chat earlier, like if you miss a class, like if I have a meet on a Friday and I miss a class, every teacher that I've had so far is like, oh, just come to my office hours on Monday and I'll just teach you everything that you missed. It will take like 15 minutes. Or they will like pre-record the lecture for you and post it online, and then like the people sitting around you can send you their notes and stuff like that. So honestly, I do better when I'm busy. So I think that on top of all the other things that I've been doing has helped me like, okay, I have to do this homework assignment right now because I don't have time like later tonight because I have a meet or whatever it may be.
That's a good point, if you don't mind if I jump in for a second there. You know, Lydia is one of those people that does better when she's busy, but honestly, you'd be surprised how many of our students wind up saying that eventually. They didn't know that about themselves until they started working their way through their undergraduate program. So, you know, even if that means that they're a student athlete, but if that's not their cup of tea, there's plenty of other things that our students will get involved with to stay busy in, like the clubs, for example, honors project, et cetera. Speaking from the freshman perspective, I will say that we're very cognizant of the fact that this is a big change for people the freshman year. So we don't want to overload them. We make sure that they are well supported their freshman year to focus on their coursework. But slowly, I'd say probably second semester of their freshman year, we do start encouraging them a lot more to, you know, be a part of something extracurricular.
Dr. Oaks, I think you're muted.
Well, it sounds like that's really all we have for you guys today from a formal presentation perspective, but we'd be happy to stick around for a while and answer any questions. Oh, Dr. Oaks is back.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, last minute technical trouble. Sorry, Kumi, did you want to talk about some of the clubs that you've been in that have not been health related?
Yeah, so
Sorry about that.
it's okay. I found that, so I'm also a commuter, and I was for all 4 years. So at first I was like, I knew I wanted to get involved just to try and make new friends as well, because not living on campus, you don't get to meet a lot of people, but joining clubs definitely helps you do that. So I was part of the Newman Club, which is the Catholic student group on campus. And we do a lot of community service projects, retreats, and activities just revolving around growing your faith and like finding a good community here. So I was lucky enough to be the vice president of community service of that club and later on the president. And then I was also involved in the Asian Student Association. We just started that up last year, so it's still a relatively new club, but I was an active member. And then this semester, I was the secretary, and we hosted one of our first big events ever, which was the Jewels of Asia Gala. So basically, we just put on a fun evening with a lot of performances, good food, and having a good time with people where you can get dressed up, and that's open to everyone on campus. So there's tons of clubs to get involved here. Whatever you're interested in, there's probably a club for you. There's also different club sports and obviously clubs for different religions and anything that you're interested in. So, and if you don't find something that you're interested in, then you can always start one as well.
Yeah, and I feel like it's so important to know that you can participate in all that and do well academically. You know, everybody's primary focus, of course, is academics, but it's such a part of college to have a well-rounded experience. So I always like prospective students to know that you can do that. You can do it all. There is time, lots of opportunity. All right. Other questions, or students, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about your experience at Hartford?
I was going to talk about being an RA at the same, also in case anybody's interested in that. So I'm also an RA, which is a resident assistant. I think it's honestly the best thing that I've done in college throughout everything, because I've met so many people. I've met not only students, I've met so many different faculty and staff that I definitely would not have met otherwise. And you have a new staff every single year, so I've formed connections with people that I might have just been passing on campus and waving at now as my best friend. So I think for anybody that doesn't really know what they want to do, I definitely, my freshman year was I don't know if I want to be an RA, but I guess I'll just apply and see what happens. If you are even considering it at all, it's the best thing that you can do. I would say definitely apply, and then it's easy because freshman year I wasn't as involved. I was mostly just taking classes and going to practice. And then once I became an RA, my opportunities just opened up, and I was able to do way more things on campus and be more involved. So definitely do it if you're interested.
Yeah, and just for all these, upcoming freshmen, it's just nice to know that there are RAs here to help you and to guide you and to help you make that transition to college life. So thank you. I see there's a question about transferring and how that affects your schedule and your curriculum in the honors program. And the answer is, when we have people transfer in, we just work with them individually to figure out what have you taken that already counts, how does it count, how is it going to come in, what do you still need to do. And absolutely, students can still complete the honors program if they come in as a transfer student. And that, how that works, we work individually with you to figure that out. I hope that answers your question. It's a relatively broad answer, but we make sure that you take what you need and you don't take things that you have already taken. Other questions? Questions from my admissions folks about anything you wanted me to touch on, or any one of the attendees?
I was going to say maybe we could all share why we chose UHeart, just to help people because they can't really get the full experience here.
Yeah, terrific. That'd be great. Do you want to start, Kimi?
Yeah, I can start. So I chose UHeart because of the small class sizes here. I think typically there's about 15 to 20 people per class, and it's really easy to help make connections with your professors. like I'm pretty much in Dr. Oaks' office like at least once a week, just either chatting or like asking her for advice. And it's the smaller class sizes, you get to know everyone in your classes, and the school is big enough where you have like a good group of friends, but you also get to meet so many other different people. So it's really nice in that aspect, and you just make really good connections. You make friends pretty easily, and it's just a really, really good support system that we have here. And of course, when I was choosing colleges, I was looking to commute, so this was close to my house. But if I had to do it over again, I would still choose UHeart, and it's just been my home away from home, and I've really loved all the connections I've been able to make here.
Thank you. Lindsay, do you want to go?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think for me, so I'm from Texas, so a long way from Connecticut. So definitely going there, I was coming to be a part of the program, the osteopathic medicine program. But I think the big reason why I stayed, because I did switch out of that program, so I was thinking about maybe transferring somewhere back in Texas, to be honest, the first year. But I think something that really helped me make my decision to stay and to be a part of the UHeart community was the faculty help. I think, like kind of what Kimi was saying, the small classes are super helpful because, yeah, you do get that one-on-one time with professors. They, like, get to know your name. A lot of the colleges, you know, I guess in Texas at least, I mean, there's a lot of big colleges everywhere, but it's, like, hard because you have, like, you know, 300 students in a class, and you can show up and not, and professor wouldn't even know, right? So I love how there's just like a good connection between the professors. I think there's a lot of genuine professors who genuinely want to help you. There's no like, you know, anything attached with that. It's like they want to make sure you have a good future. They want to put in time for you. So I really, really appreciated that. I think that's something that made me want to stay is that they just care, like the faculty care. And, you know, if I had a problem, I wasn't like afraid to ask like Dr. Oaks or anybody else, honestly. If I thought like some other professor would be better at answering a question, like they would. But I think that's something that I really loved was the faculty. And I think also, I guess on student life part of it, like the non-academic side of it, I love how small our campus is because you get to like walk to class and like there has to be someone you well, honestly know. Like there's not like I don't know. I feel like for me, usually if I'm walking to class, like there's someone you can wave to and someone you'll recognize because it's such a like small community. So I think those are my big things. I think it was really cool to make friends, really easy to be a part of the community that is UHeart. I think the first semester, of course, for everybody is going to be a little bit of you finding your niche, like finding what it is for you, because it looks different. Like for Kimi as a commuter, and I was like living on campus, obviously it's going to be different. But I think making sure like you get involved, like you push yourself if you need to push yourself. And I don't know, I think the community for like clubs and organizations was really amazing too. I think there's definitely a community within that too. I think she was talking about the Asian group on campus, and I've just noticed this year like there's a lot of just like love between all the multicultural groups and like organizations. Like there's no like competitiveness really or anything. It's just like we all like want to just be like together as like a UHeart community. So yeah, those are like I guess my big takeaways. Yeah.
Thank you. And Lydia, what made you pick the University of Hartford?
Yeah, so originally I came here because I was doing the whole recruiting thing, going on official visits to a bunch of different schools that I was interested in competing for. And I ended up coming here because I really loved like how close everyone was and like everybody knows everybody. And if you don't know someone, I'm sure your friend knows them. And like so I had a meeting with a few like professors and I went to classes with my host and all the classes were really small and like all the professors tried to get to know me before I was even a student there. They like asked if I like what I was interested in, what I wanted to do, where I was from, stuff like that. And that's still true today. Like every class that I take, the teachers know who I am. They know like broadly like what I do. They know I'm an athlete and things like that. And just like everybody is so willing to help, and if they don't know how to help, they know exactly who knows how to help and can tell you, oh, go see, like, for example, I had a question about research methods class, and I was in a health science class, and my health science professor was like, oh, you should go talk to so and so in the psychology department. Their office number is whatever it was. And I was like, well, that was easy. Okay. So it's definitely like nice to have such a small community where everybody knows everyone else.
Thank you. Yeah, we are lucky to have great students, which makes being a connected faculty member an easy thing to do. Thank you guys so much. I see there are a couple of questions coming in about how do schedules get made, and just broadly, without getting too into the weeds here, before classes start in the fall, a group of people are working behind the scenes to create a schedule for everyone. So we look at things like what you took in high school, how you did you take any AP classes, did the scores come in yet, did you take early college credit, and then we configure a schedule for everyone. We let you know what that is, and that happens before school starts, and then you have the opportunity to reach out to our first year advisors and say, I have a concern about this. You put me in pre-calc, but I had already taken calc in high school. Can we talk about how that decision was made or whatever? There are all sorts of scenarios. And so there is the opportunity to tweak the schedule before classes even start if needed. I hope that's a clear enough answer and helps relieve any anxiety anybody might have about schedules, but it all gets set, and just so everyone knows, there is also a certain amount of adjusting of schedules in the first week of classes, and that is fine. And, the semester is long. If we have to do a little tweaking in that first week, it's fine. So at orientation, people will learn much more about exactly how it all works, but that's a general answer. I hope that helps. All right. I think we're just at about 5 to 3, so I am all set. I think I will wrap up. It has been our pleasure to talk to you about the program. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you feel how passionate we are about what we do, and that if you have other questions, you feel free to reach out to the admissions folks or to the faculty, and we can get our email addresses out to you. Thank you all so much for attending, and good luck in your decision making.